What's up, everyone? I'm Joel. That's Steve. This is Cash, and we are the collective known as Better Than Ever. Today, we will be starting a new series that is very near and dear to my heart.
Passion project, if you will.
This has been pre-podcast, pre-everything. I have been trying to convince my best friend to watch this show forever, and if you are the three people who watch this show, you should definitely know it's Avatar, The Last Airbender. And this series will be passionately called Avatar, The Better Than Never Bender. We will be watching the entire show from start to finish, all 3 seasons, and Steve will either learn to love it or we will never be friends again. How do you feel about this endeavor, Steve?
First and foremost, Better Than Never Bender is an incredible like we were sitting at the bar and we wanted to do an Avatar. Hold on, let me fix that. You wanted me to watch Avatar for years.
Aggressively, yes.
We're like, okay, like if we're gonna do it, like let's do it for the channel. I haven't wanted to watch it. It's like I'm all on board. But we're sitting at the bar and we're like, all right, but now we're finally gonna do this. We need a good name for the series. And it makes no sense. But Avatar, The Better Than Never Bender rolls off the tongue so well. It's so good.
It like awkwardly rhymes.
Yeah, and like so that alone, it got me excited. Where I'm just like, okay, like I'm fully invested now. Also, I have to say, I felt more peer pressure to watch this show than to do drugs.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
Yes.
So this better live up to the hype. So I'm going into this extremely high expectations.
So preface to the show, we are going to be watching 3 episodes at a time, which the entire series is roughly about 60 something episodes. So it's gonna take us some time to get to the end. But the good thing about this show, not that it starts necessarily slow, because I think that it punches you in the mouth fairly early, but I will tell you that as good as it is in the first season, it's even better in the third. It's a show that literally grows. It starts at a very good point and just epically climbs.
How's the second season?
Second season is also very good.
Okay, so it's like a steady incline.
Yes.
Okay.
I think personally, it's a show that literally goes, season 1 was good, season 2 was great, season 3 was incredible to me.
Really?
I'm hoping that you enjoy it as much as I do. I think looking at it through an adult lens will help you tremendously.
When was the last time you saw this?
Within a year. I rewatched
the whole show?
I rewatched it with my wife.
The whole show?
Yes. So this will be like my 5th time watching it all the way through.
Wow, that's I don't think I've ever seen anything 5 times.
Nerd alert!
That's crazy.
Without further ado, episode 1, The Boy in the Iceberg, The Avatar Returns, Part 1. Let's go. We'll go choosing violence to be continued.
That's crazy.
And that's episode 1. So before we go on to episode 2, let's take a brief moment and we'll shoot right into episode 2. What are your first impressions of the show in episode 1?
Good. I like the world building. Like obviously you saw I had a lot of questions. I want to know more. I want to know more about even little things too. Like I want to know how Zuko got a scar.
So this show does a very good job of giving you all that.
Right.
Like little by little, you get a little bit more of the lore, a little bit more of the lore, a little bit more of the lore. It almost teases it into your brain, and you will.
What happened to Katara's parents?
So I'm not sure if we spoke over it, but in the beginning, you hear like 2 years ago, her dad went to go fight off in the war.
Oh, okay, the dad in the war. Okay.
They haven't described what happened to the mother yet. That happens eventually soon. They tell you that.
So little things like that are enough to kind of keep me intrigued. You know, where I'm like, okay, like why does that person look like that? You know what I mean? Like, or you hear like Zuko said again, it's also very good job of just kind of building that suspense or building that mystery. Like his family for generations has been looking for the last Airbender.
Your father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all tried and failed.
Because their honor didn't hinge on the Avatar's capture. Mine does. This coward's 100 years in hiding are over.
Yeah, for the Avatar, you know what I mean? So like even now he's this kid. I'm assuming he's around the same age as Aang, whatever the fuck.
I believe he's slightly older, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, so he's even at the young age, he's like, all right, I'm also gonna try and find this fucking person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, why? What is their family obsession?
Once again, another thing that they go into detail about.
Yeah.
If we get to the end of these 3 episodes, you're gonna want to watch more episodes.
I probably will. I'm gonna be excited to do it again.
Keep going.
Goddamn right.
Ooh.
Book 1,
Avar Returns, Chapter 2.
Wow. So yeah, episode 1 definitely did a good job of like building the world, and then the second one definitely a good job of like setting the story. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, okay, now they're going to the North Pole so that she can learn waterbending. Like, obviously you saw like a lot of his abilities with the airbending, which I really liked. Great fight, by the way.
Yes.
That was
really
awesome.
well choreographed.
I love the way Zuko fucking uses fire. But even then, like, he's entertaining and still wasn't enough. Like, wasn't even close to being enough, which is also interesting. That kind of really shows you like how powerful Aang really is. But gives more insight, but also definitely sets the mood, I guess, going forward, and also what the grand objective is.
Yeah, it gives you the source of like one of the biggest conflicts in the show.
Yeah.
Zuko and Aang.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this first season.
That's the rivalry. Started before they even met each other, really.
It gives you, like, he has his team now, or part of his team, which you'll see later on down the line, but he has most of his team now. Team Avatar, that's now going to be doing all this stuff to be
Team Avatar.
getting him. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Most people call them.
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like the
Team
Z,
Avatar.
like the Z fighters.
Yes, essentially. But we finally just get set after 2 episodes, and you understand what this story is essentially about right now.
Yes.
Now we're trying to get him all the knowledge to be a full-fledged Avatar.
Yeah. This kind of sets the scene for the whole overarching plot, which is nice. Pretty early on too. After the second 2 episodes.
It hits you over the head with a lot of information, but without crushing you with it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel like overwhelmed or anything. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I think episode 2 definitely answered some questions from episode 1, and now I'm going into the episode 3 thinking like, okay, like know everything I need to know, now. So now I'm just trying to see where it goes. So like they did a really good job of kind of giving you the lay of the land in the first 2 episodes. Now I'm going into episode 3. I'm just like, all right, cool. We're going into North Pole. Let's go learn some waterbending. Better than Airbender.
Episode 3, the Southern Air Temple.
Oh, so we're going to the air temple first.
Yes.
What are you gonna name it?
Momo?
One of the most beloved characters in Avatar.
Kind of a lame name.
Momo, you shut your dirty mouth.
I was gonna name him after either Mento or the Last Airbender, Last Avatar.
I don't know. Momo.
That's it, Momo.
Momo and Apple. Stop hating.
There we go.
And that is episode 3. A lot of world building in 3 episodes.
Especially the first 2 episodes.
I think the 3rd episode is more like you start to feel the reasoning why they're doing certain things.
Yeah.
Aang, he left, comes back hoping to find his people. He realizes they're all gone. You have Zuko, you sort of unpack the fact that something happened that caused him to be banished.
Yeah. Why he got a scar. All seems like it was all connected.
Someone gave him that scar, and it's clearly not the first time he's had an Agni Kai. He said, remember the last time you fought another master of firebending?
Yes, he got the scar.
It's a lot to unpack in 3 episodes. So how do you feel?
I love it so far. I generally do it. It definitely sucked me in after the first 2. And then okay. Every episode, almost every scene, there's like another question answered, which I like too, because it's constantly just like constantly feeding you stuff and like building more and more, which is how to get me intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it kind of really go from there. Like it also feels like it also ended on a good point. At least this episode did. We're like, all right, they're leaving the air temple. Like they have a new member with fucking Momo, but also just curious to see like, okay, what's next for them. Like I like the way like that last episode 3, like feels like a very like start to finish point. Like they see the secret room with all the avatars.
Yeah.
So we got a lot more answers there and everything, and you find out what happened to his mentor, which obviously was a very sad moment. And then you had the fight with Zuko, which Zuko gets Commander Zhao. He's definitely strong as shit. He held back a bit, which also just goes to say, you mentioned earlier, it goes to show like how strong Zuko really is. So I mean, I know he's like Prince, and he's trying to make amends with his father by finding the Avatar. His family's been chasing him for so long. Like now, it's nice finally kind of having those answers.
Yeah.
Why he was obsessed. Find out he's not at sea for 2 years.
Yeah.
Kind of find the Avatar, which is also kind of crazy to think about. But he was banished. Like now, want to know why? And like now, again, there's still, even though like we got a lot of answers, there's still tons more questions.
Absolutely. I think that's a good thing the show does in general. It's as you gain answers, you start to have more questions.
Yeah.
And you almost never really stop that feeling. You consistently go through that like cycle of answer questions, more answers.
That's also what makes a good show, makes a good series. It's like you're constantly proposing new questions, but still giving you answers. Like you're still satisfying viewers with answers fillers, but also on the flip side, providing more questions to keep people hooked. So like so far, like I can see why this took off when it did.
Once again, I will always harp on this idea. This is a show made for children.
But it's crazy about it too, because like as a 32, almost 33-year-old man, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
And like I said, it will always hold up in my mind. It's something I will definitely show my children.
The fight scenes are good.
And the fight scenes are very good. It's super well choreographed. It's a lot of inspiration from like anime and stuff like that. Like you could tell, like they definitely took their time with it and they made a great story. And the fact that you're gonna see too once we get to the third season, like it's a show that it's not bloated. It's very much like start to finish. You feel like it's a whole story encapsulated.
There's not a lot of fillers, right? Like
there's very few. And the one episode I talk about a lot. It's to me a filler episode, but it still has its own value.
Sure.
It's a transitionary episode when he goes from one place to another.
It's also a good place to put a filler.
Yeah.
If you are gonna put one, like.
But overall, like you could just tell, like it doesn't feel like they were ever really rushed with this story. They got through it like they executed it very well, in which they accomplished a lot, especially in the first 3 episodes. I think the first 3 episodes specifically are like just enough to whet your palate to be like, I want to watch it.
Oh no, I'm excited to watch the next 3 that we do. Also, like I mentioned too, our style does hold up well. Like we did talk about it briefly. Like it feels like I'm just watching like an older anime. Like it's still very clean, very colorful. Like it does hold up extremely well.
And the reason why I feel like it holds up well is because of something like the fight scenes. The fight scenes, if you look at like older anime, like if we look at like for instance, like a Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho suffers from a lot of that, in which what you watch the fight scenes, it's very almost like stationary, a lot of like, or like an old school Dragon Ball Z fight where you see a lot of like the static pose, but the arms moving really fast, or like they're just bouncing together. Like you don't really get a lot of substance in this. Where their fight scenes in this are very storytelling based.
Yeah.
Like if you look at this acting shot here in this episode 3, you clearly have a moment where Zuko is on the ropes and you hear his uncle say something very poignant.
Basics, Zuko. Break his root.
And the first thing Zuko does is he sweeps the leg and then proceeds to attack at his feet.
Every movement has a motive or has a reason, which is nice to see. Very, very, very well choreographed.
And it showed a lot about Zuko. You know, he clearly had the kill shot at the end.
He didn't take it.
And he shows some type of compassion. He says, basically, stay out of my way.
But also, like, his mentor was sore loser, who could tackle from behind with a cheap shot. Like, also kind of show you the kind of people he's around.
Yeah, it shows you what the Fire Nation really is.
Yeah, exactly. They're fucking scummy.
Luckily for him, you know, he has General Iroh, his uncle, that proceeded to give him the assist.
I think I'm gonna like Iroh a lot.
I'm telling you, Iroh is probably my favorite character in the show.
Yeah.
The only thing about Iroh is like there's not much of a story arc for him. You just kind of have him in these little pockets.
He's just like a supporting character.
Very much.
Yeah.
He ends up having a bigger role later on down the line.
Okay.
So he does have moments where he's very like, on one hand he's very light and you get this like loving, caring person. It's very comic reliefy. Then you also have on the other side where you see what he's capable of. It's a nice duality, but we won't talk too much more of that. We have a lot more to watch on this show. Steve, I'm very happy you liked your first 3 episodes. I know I talked about a lot. Scale of 1 to 10, first 3 episodes. How you feeling?
How am I feeling? It's a good 9.9. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll take it.
Like, I'm very much looking forward. I'm not wrong. Like, not every 3 episode batch that we do is going to be a 9.9. But these 3 did a very good job of sucking me into it, and I'm completely immersed now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, these are our first 3 episodes of Better Than Neverbender, or Avatar Better Than Neverbender, the greatest name ever created.
So good.
We hope to see you guys on the next 3 episodes. We're gonna be doing these in little batches here and there, and you know, like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think, and hopefully by the time it gets to the end of this, we have another show we can watch together again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, I'm Joel. That's Steve. This is Cash, our Appa. Peace. See you in the next one.
Yep.
Yep.